Okay, now we've only got about 8 minutes, so I'll dive right in. In this teaching tip, after a brief introduction about the importance of the body and of prosody, I'd like to share an activity to help your learners to feel the rhythm of English. And then briefly, I'd like to suggest a few ideas on how to foreground prosody when teaching pronunciation and when teaching English in general. Now, prosody is the main focus of my work because my experience and the research I do and read keep bringing me back to how important it is for intelligibility and for comprehension. And French prosody is about as far from English prosody as you can imagine, without leaving intonation languages altogether and moving into tonal languages. But the content of this teaching tip is true for most learners of English to a greater or lesser extent. Less, for example, if you teach German or Scandinavian learners, but more if you're teaching learners from just about anywhere else. I'll let you do your own comparative analysis of your languages concerned. But before we go any further, most of you are experts on teaching pronunciation, I know, but maybe not all. So let's just make sure we're singing from the same hymn sheet. By prosody, I basically mean stress, which gives us the rhythm of a language and intonation, not the phonemes, not the consonants, not the vowels. Now, prosody is a very physical thing, deeply rooted in our identity as a species and as individuals. It's essential to get it right, right-ish. So how should we go about teaching it? Now, adults like to know the whys and wherefores, perhaps more than kids, but even adults need to feel things, especially prosody. And whatever your age, you can't teach prosody, I believe, without putting your whole body into it. I don't have time to expand on this here, but my approach has become increasingly articulatory and whole body even. So first of all, before working on pronunciation, then I think it's a good idea to stand up, to warm up your articulators, your breathing, etc. Let's assume we've done all that, right? So this is an activity to enable learners to feel the stress-timed rhythm of English. What? I hear you cry, but surely Pike's isochrony dichotomy between stress-timed and syllable-timed languages has been debunked by so many researchers. Look, I know, but this isn't a research paper. It's about teaching English, right? So mentioning that languages have different rhythms is, I think, a good pedagogical choice. And the fact is, English clearly alternates between strong and weak syllables. And in fact, we'll sacrifice almost anything we can to get away with. As long as we can respect the rhythm. In other words, the distance in time between the stressed syllables. And so that's what this little activity is designed to help your students to understand. It starts slowly, it gets harder, and by line 3 or 4 of this 5-line activity, you should see the penny drop moment. Now, I don't have time to do it as I'd really do it with learners. It should take about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so sharing my screen now. Right. Here we have 2 words, right? 1 syllable each. Now with learners, you'd elicit the number of syllables where the stress syllable is each time, all right? So let's say, for the sake of this exercise, both syllables are stressed equally, okay? And we're gonna impose a rhythm of about 75 beats a minute, okay? Now I'm doing this by clicking my fingers. I could use a metronome. I prefer to clap or tap something or click my fingers. Now, it goes like this after 3, and we go through twice. 1, 2, 3, 10 pens, 10 pens, right? Fairly easy. We're going to add another couple of words, elicit the stress syllables, and the rhythm remains the same. 1, 2, 3, 10 pens, 20 pencils, 10 pens, 20 pencils. All right, so we add another couple of lines and the same again, okay? We elicit the stress syllables after 3, twice through. 1, 2, 3, 10 pens, 20 pencils, 70 elements, 10 pens, 20 pencils, 70 elements. And you might lose your A1, your A2 learners here, but really the penny's going to drop. If it's not here, it'll be with the next 2 words. All right, same again after 3 from the top, twice through. 1, 2, 3, 10 pens, 20 pencils, 70 elements, 20,000 experiments, 10 pens, 20 pencils, 70 elements, 20,000 experiments. Now, the B1s are probably finding it difficult to fit everything in. This is where you point out that the key to speaking English is to sacrifice the bits that don't matter so much. Stop trying to pronounce every vowel properly. Let a few consonants go. Then add another couple of words, and let's see if they can do the next one. Same again, after 3, from the top, twice through. 1, 2, 3. 10 pens, 20 pencils, 70 elements, 20,000 experiments, 70,000 universities. Now, I use university as a word to demonstrate the different levels of stress in English. So they already know this one, but still, even the B2 students, even the C1 students might find it hard to fit in 10 syllables into the space where they were only putting 2 syllables a couple of minutes ago. All right, so this activity allows you to draw attention to a number of things, not all at once, maybe over a few lessons. This is an activity to do several times. Okay, so there are the reduced vowels, for example, the schwa in pencils, the happy E in 20, other reductions like the syllabic in 7, deletions like the t in 20, and of course you can use it to show how to pronounce the stressed vowels, because after all, they carry a lot of the meaning. Okay, so lastly, a few words on syllable design. Syllabus design. Like many of us, I often teach short courses, 20 or 30 hours, and prosody can be a way into that. It can structure your whole approach to teaching pronunciation. For example, I start by working on rhythm and stress. I work on the reduced vowels first, before I work on the stressed unreduced vowels. And the only consonants I even bother with are the ones involved in assimilation, in linking, in stuff like that. Teaching aspirated plosives can be done via work on the stressed syllable. And with more advanced groups, the syllabic the dark o, in reduced syllables like button and little, can be taught through prosody. And there are lots of different ways to do any of those things. As long as there's a lot of repetition, use of the body, poetry, music, whatever you choose. And of course, prosody can be a way into teaching other language points. For example, grammatical points like relative clauses, discourse features, functions, polite requests, stuff like that. Cultural aspects, humor, irony, things like that. So, in short, and frankly, 8 minutes is short, it's not what you say, it's how you say it that counts. Thanks very much for listening.